What's up, George? What's going on in the house of Craze today?
In the house of Craze, we have Sam burping like a muck. We're going to have Brian Menard of Dojo Con Comics, Janice Hardy, writer of the fantasy trilogy The Healing Wars, and we're going to be talking about the importance of something that most of you independents don't know. Find out. Coming up next.
After that war, I need some healing. Let's get it!
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening? Sam, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are coming to you today. We are speaking to a couple of independents. We're going to have a topic of the day today. We have a lot of stuff going on. Indie news is coming up. We're going to be talking about a couple of days left of one particular project we have. So we have a lot of stuff going on today, man. What's going on with you, Sam? How you feeling, dog?
Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
What's up? No, just been busy grinding. Trying to get this forbidden campaign to take off. You know, it's a struggle to get to 50 backers. So trying to get to 50 backers. Today is Black Friday. So today is Black Friday, and if you haven't checked out the campaign, I have a Black Friday specials, 24 hours only. It started at midnight.
Give them the indie news, though.
Oh, damn,
son.
Herb. In other news, so today is the Black Friday deal. It's crazy. It's a I don't know what I'm doing. I'm giving it all away. I'm like Crazy Eddie. So if you go on to Kickstarter right now or Indiegogo, and only for today, it's only for 24 hours. It started at midnight, Thanksgiving night, midnight through midnight Friday night to Saturday. So it's you can get the graphic novel bundle. The bundle with. So the bundle comes with the graphic novel volume 1. Mm-hmm. It comes with 2 stickers. Comes with 2 trading cards. Comes with a bookmark. Comes with a commissioned sketch card by me. Comes with the sketchbook volume 1. And it comes with a pinup. All of that for $45, and that includes shipping in the U.S. only.
Okay.
So that $45 is getting you all that, and you're not going to another screen to pay for shipping. Yo, I'm crazy.
Nice.
What am I doing?
$45.
Yo,
right, get on it. Jump on it, guys.
Giving it all away.
Everybody.
So this is only lasts for 24 hours. So get on it. The bundle is timed, and it will end. So it's unlimited. You can get 50 of them if you want, but go ahead and get them. And it's a great deal.
Yeah, that's
really
a
good
great deal. Excellent deal. Yeah, we had a live show on Wednesday. We had a lot of just news of things that are coming up down the pike for us over here at Catch the Craze, and with the crazies and titles like This Is Nothing in My Toilet. So if you are watching this show, you missed the show on Wednesday, check that out, because we have a lot of really cool news on there. Also, I just realized this is the day after Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody had a very happy Thanksgiving. Spend it with family. Myself, this recording, I am not in Cali yet, but I should be in Cali by the time this airs. And so, yeah, that's awesome, bro. So that's a great deal. Black Friday deal like that. So what made you come up with something so, like out of the box like that?
Everybody's shopping on Black Friday, and everybody's looking. So like the parents that are looking for their kids that are comic book lovers, the gamers that love fantasy. This is a great Christmas gift, although you're gonna get it after Christmas. But this is a great gift to have, and I thought that how about entice it, do something where it's even more advantageous for the fan to get a copy, not only of the book, but get all these great incentives with it. I mean, you get the sketchbook, plus you get a sketch card, plus you get the graphic novel, plus you get the pinups and the bookmarks and the trading cards and the stickers. You're getting a whole lot of stuff all wrapped into one. So it's like, you know what? Let's see if that will bring some more people to the Forbidden, because I really want you to read the book. And so I was like, you know what? Let's throw in some goodies. Everybody likes additional goodies. And if you look at the bundle itself, the original bundle, it didn't have the sketch card, it didn't have the sketchbook, it didn't have the pinup. So you're getting all that stuff plus those three things.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's a good incentive. And guys, the campaign ends on December 1st. So please make sure that you go on there on both platforms, right? It ends at the same time on both, I think, right?
Yes.
Indiegogo and Kickstarter, yeah. So for those Indiegogo fans, get out there, check it out. It's been quiet on that front.
Oh,
Indiegogo. The Indiegogo front's been very quiet.
Indiegogo's an indie no-no.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of putting it on both campaigns was because there was a lot of talk of how there are some people who won't back campaigns on Kickstarter, but will back them on Indiegogo. And there were some backers from the last campaign. So if you are out there, if you're listening, and you forgot, maybe you're like, oh wait, that's still going on. Yes, it is still going on. It is on Indiegogo right now. Search Forbidden. Go into your email, because I'm sure Sam sent you a bunch of updates, and make sure you pledge. You still have time. You still have time to pledge. It's not funded there. It's funded on Kickstarter, but it didn't fund on Indiegogo just yet. So there's still a few days.
It'd be nice to just fund on Indiegogo, the goal is just to get as many readers as possible. So, and then not only that, I mean, for every backer that pledges at $15 or more, once we get 5 names, they go into a raffle.
Yeah.
So that's another incentive. So that's another way to get another free item. The winners will get a copy of my digital prose of Arg, which is a book that I wrote about a goblin boy born into a human family, and there's a whole lot of twists and turns with that. And so that's another way of us just enticing and try to get you interested in supporting the books that we created.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's a grind, and we've talked about this a lot. Kickstarter and crowdfunding campaigns, that's what everybody's doing now. It's, a means to an end, but it's not the only way to put the book out. So hopefully, if there is enough, and I don't know how you feel about this, Sam, but if there is enough demand for the book, then they can go outside of just the crowdfunding circuit and go into, whether it's stores, whether it's at conventions and things of that matter. But there has to be that demand. Yes. You know what I mean? Like as an indie, you have to see where you're going to put your money into. And if a certain project isn't, doing it at the time, maybe it has to be put back on the shelf, and then something else has to be put forward. So, help Forbidden stay out there and stay relevant. It's a great story, man. It's a really, really good story. So you guys definitely need to check that out. And for those who are watching who don't know what Forbidden is about, Sammy, let them know what's this thing about. What is this Forbidden thing about?
It's a classic tale of father and son trust issues. A son wants to know what's happening in the world, and he's grown up on the ground, and because of a curse that his people has been dealing with, They remain underground for centuries. So he challenges his father. He wants to explore. He wants to see what's out in the out. And those thoughts come from his lover areas. So they escape, and they commit the ultimate sin against the family, and they escape. They fight their way out, spilling blood of their own. But he doesn't realize what he did. He just triggered a series of events, because now those descendants of those who cursed his people, now they're alerted to the fact that the son of Vox has risen. So then they have to find him and destroy him before it's too late, because he's the key to destroying them, and he doesn't realize it, or at least that's what prophecy states. So it's basically, it's a twist. There's a sister who's a very strong-willed, calculated, cunning, strategic warrior, but she's not allowed to lead because she's a woman, and she's caught between her father and her brother. She knows what her brother's action has just did to the people. She understands the risk. So, but she also needs to decide whether or not to go after him and bring him back safely, or remain and prepare for what to come because of his actions. So she's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of layers to this story. So for those of you who like, the character-driven stories, and for those who like action adventure, like, it's all there. It's all there. So basically, what you have is you have this dynamic, this almost like this conflict between father and son, right? And in some stories, you'll see, the sibling rivalry, right? Like the sister is jealous of the brother, like the whole Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Where like Ferris Bueller gets away with everything, and the sister's upset about the fact that Ferris gets away with everything. Right. And she kind of wants to sabotage. That's not what you're getting here, right? As fun as that is, there's a twist to that. There isn't any of that. They actually get along. The sister's actually trying to talk to the father and saying, hey, Dad, maybe you were a little rough on sin. You know what I mean? Maybe we need to ease off on that. And the father's so set in his ways that he's like, you know what? No, he's got to learn. And so as a reader, you now you can take a side, but I don't think Sam makes you pick a side. It's like, who do you think is right in this story? And there is no right or wrong. It's just, who do you think is right? Yeah. The father says, don't go out there. Should the son have listened? That's up to you. There is no right or wrong. There are consequences to actions in life, always. And I think that that's also explored in the story. What happens if you go against, what you're told as a kid or as a son or as a servant, whatever? What happens? And you're going to see those consequences. You see what happens. And everything starts happening from issue 0, goes into issue 1. And now we're in issue 2. So now more characters are being thrown into the mix. Viejo, we met him briefly in issue 1. We talk more about who he is, right? What he does. You get actually the backstory. Sam tells the backstory of this of Forbidden, where like these group of villagers went into the woods. You actually see that unfold in the pages. So get it, so you can see it. So you can sit down and be like, oh my God, that's what that looks like. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So you have to get out there, but you have to pledge. And the book is done. So there is no, oh man, am I gonna get it though? Like, because it's completed.
Yeah, stop acting
it's
up.
Done.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. The book is done. So, outside of paper issues with the printers or delivery issues with the postal service, the things that are beyond my control, at the end of the campaign, it goes, as soon as 2 weeks after the campaign ends, I receive the funds. That's when I hit send, and it gets to the printers. Mm-hmm. Gives it about 2 weeks to get it back from the printers, because from the graphic novel to the single issues to the stickers and all that stuff, it takes about 2 weeks between all of them to get it all in, and then everything's shipped. So basically the month of December, it's production, and in January is packing and shipping.
Do you sympathize, or do you, I guess, find yourself rooting for Sin in the story, or are you kind of like on the dad's side, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just, Dad said don't go. Like, take your writing hat off and now become a fan of the book, who do you lean towards as far as like, hey man, I kind of side with this character more than any other?
I said with Desiree.
Yeah, that's that you. In other words, that's what you would do. It's almost like kind of like you sympathize with the way she handles the situation that she's in,
Because she understands both, but she also realizes she's extremely loyal. So her allegiance is to the family,
right?
right? So she's gonna put the family first.
But the allegiance is tested, right? And that's the interesting part of
Yes.
it. Like when you say her allegiance is the family, it's the family unit. But now you have two people who are
Right.
at odds with each other. So she's stuck in a
But
weird spot.
yes, the problem is she loves her brother,
Right.
but also she understands why they must remain underground.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you'll find out along the way, because there's a lot of layers to her. And there's a lot of secrets that'll unfold in the later issues. And so she has to tread carefully, but also swiftly. So she's faced with it's decisions that she knows that she cannot spend time debating. She needs to move quickly, because she is also aware that the moment he hits the surface, it's on. Everything's about to change. So she needs to move fast, and all her decisions, and most of her decisions, are not discussed.
Because and she's got to move fast because she believes in this curse,
Yes.
which is something that Sin doesn't believe in. He doesn't believe there is a curse. He doesn't think anything's gonna come of me going to the surface.
Right.
And it's not until he gets there that he realizes, ooh, I don't feel so good. Something's not right. What happened to Arius? Where is she? So like, it's weird because as I'm reading the story, I think he committed, like you said, you call him Sin. When he does, I think I was kind of rooting for the rebel without a cause, get out there and until he does what he does in issue 0. And that's when me personally, I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have done that.
He crossed the line of no return.
Yeah, you messed up. Now I lean more towards the father and why he's telling her to go.
But then you'll learn why he chose that route in the later issues.
Yeah, no, that's I'm not. I'm not
but
even. But
again,
I'm just saying as far as where we are right now.
Yeah.
Just for the people who are watching, who are like, what the hell? Yeah, there is a lot more stuff's gonna get unpacked. But as far as like where we are right now, this like, and you guys got to check it out. Like when if you get a chance after you listen to this, and you're like, oh, what the heck are they talking about? Forbidden on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, search it. There is a catch up tier on there, so you can get, even if you don't want to get the physicals, if you want to get the digital copies, you can get them digitally, so you can just read them, and then if you like it, order it. Do whatever you got to do. But and there's add-ons and stuff like that. But no, it's an interesting story, dude, and I think that people need to give it a chance. I don't think they understand. I think sometimes when as creators, we're biased. Buy a book, it's great. Buy a book, but it's more than that. It's more than that. It's different. It's different in the sense that it's not just your regular superhero story. It's not even your typical fantasy story, because you have old and you have modern and you have them mixed together. So there's a twist to the fantasy kind of genre that you're used to reading. So give it a shot. Give it a shot. I mean, what do you got to lose? What, $15? Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Why not? I
mean, even if you wanted to start with issue 0, if you never picked it up, you can get a digital version of issue 0 for $5, or you can get the physical for $10. Yeah. And that $10 includes your shipping. So you're not, again, the way I do the campaigns is you're not going to a second screen. It's already there. So you know exactly what you're going to pay for. And here's an opportunity for you to, let your imagination run wild. Because one thing that Forbidden does, it forces you, it brings you into the story. Because now you start guessing what's going to happen. You start trying to figure out what's next or anticipate the next move. And that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
no, and if you're intrigued and you're going to have to wait until the fall of next year to find out what happens next. So you might as well get on there now. Go to Kickstarter before December 1st and, pledge. Yeah. Pledge to the campaign. It's that simple. Pledge to the campaign and, that the books will get to you, you're saying by January, hopefully?
I ship it out. I'm going to ship it out in January. So as soon as January, as late as February. I have it on February because of all the complications with the postal service and all that stuff. But as soon as I get it from the printer, I stop packing it. So it's just a matter of me receiving it within the 2-week time frame and then setting it out.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, with that said, I think it's time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's time? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's time for your medicine.
Get a press kit.
It's that simple.
What do you
That's
mean?
it.
¿Qué
That's
pasó?
it. That's the topic. Done. Get a press kit.
Get a press
Go
kit.
get it. Yeah, you know what? I've been listening to a lot of our fellow indie creators, and even our fellow fellow indie podcasts and things like that. Big shout out to the girls over at Raging ABC who have a great show.
Raging Cajun ABC.
That's right. Big shout out to what was the show? The came from the desk of a small press publisher, I think it's called. And I'm sorry, Joe, if I'm messing up completely the name of your show. But so they were talking about how sometimes as indies, we have Kickstarters, crowdfunding campaigns, and we need to get on a show and we need to, let the people who are on the show know who we are. Well, you can obviously send an email with a photo, a little blurb about who you are, links to all these places. You can do that, absolutely. Or you can just send a PDF of a press kit with all of that stuff in it, Now, Sammy's been doing press kits since, they had to be, snail mailed, before the PDFs were around, these press kits were around. So tell us a little bit, Sam, about what an indie should put inside of their press kit. And how do they go about creating something like this?
A whole lot of lumps. So basically, your press kit should be able to provide to your target audience, which is the retailer, the media outlets, the acquisitions person responsible for new titles or for the publishing company, all that stuff. So you need to have a synopsis of your book, some images, some pages of the book, any critic reviews. If you had any reviews, put some of the quotes, the positive quotes from those reviews. Who's your demographic, who your target age, who's the market for. Information like, is it a mini series, is it a one shot, is it an annual, and a bio about you, contact information, and your long-term goals for it. Like, this was one of the first press kits, and it was it's called Project Duty, and it says, press the world is talking about duty, licensing, interested in the property, look inside, the future, what's next for Samuel. So this is one of those things, and in the back of the book I had all of the fans that supported the brand. And it opened up, and the way I opened it up was with the cover to Designated on My Toilet. And under there was a quote from Licensing Magazine, and Designated on My Toilet was one of the product highlights of Licensing International 2006. And then at the top, from Karen E. Vora of Wizard Magazine, she says, "This is great, I love it." Right? And then Andy Smith of Marvel Comics, he says, "I love Duty." So those are the things for it. So when you open it up, the first thing you saw was those three quotes, the cover of the main book, which is right there, and then Project Duty, the movie. So like I did like what it would look like if it was a movie type slideshow, whatever. And then you went from there. And then so yeah, you had your book synopsis, and so I had 6 cover issues at the time, so each one of them were in there, and they had a bio information on all the characters and all the brands. So basically, what you want to do is just make sure that you provide enough detailed information to attract or get the person who is reading it excited about wanting to either invest in you, interview you, publish you. So you want to give enough information there that they see it and they go, you know what, I want to pick this up. But one of the things they did when they got the press kit, they also got copies of the books. So in the press kit, it showed, so then now they're saying, oh, so they got copy of issue 1 of Designating My Toilet, but the press kit had bios for 6 issues, right? But at least they had a copy, so they understood where it was going, the art style. They got to read it, determine if this was something that was viable, and then the bio about you, who you are, how you got in the game, the whole bit.
Yeah, I think that particular press kit was very project centric. So it was definitely geared towards one specific project, right? So if that's what you have, say for example, you are a creator and you do have only one project, then obviously you can go in and you create this world of, look, this is what I've done and this is where it can go. Like it's almost like you're giving them more than just what you have right now, but where it could possibly go in the future. So that's what that press kit did. And I think that is something that indies sometimes, don't do because we don't see beyond just drawing or writing something on a page, a comic, one comic. This is for like, hey, I want to do more than just this comic book. I want it to be a brand. And the press kit doesn't have to be that intricate, right? It doesn't have to be that. Don't listen to this and be like, oh, well, that's not what I want. No, you still need that press kit is still necessary because it gives people an insight into what this book is about, who you are. You know what I mean? Because if they're gonna have you on a show, right? If I'm gonna have you on a show, I want to know what questions to ask you. And if you've sent me nothing, then we're going off of nothing. We're going off of, hey, so I hear you write a book. Tell us about it. And it's like, but I don't have questions to ask you based on what you've sent me. You're saying this is going to be a 6-issue story run, right? Like, so what happens after the 6th issue? Like anything that can get the interview to flow a little better and to get the people who are listening to you speak about it, say, wow, that has a future. Like I want to kind of learn more about this particular project. So that's why I think a lot of these press kits are very important to send out. And now, like we were talking about it, saying how much money did you spend sending all these things out back in the day?
a lot of money. A lot
with comic book issues. Because remember, you had to print out these comic books, right? And you had to send them out. The beauty of today is that there are PDFs that don't cost you a thing.
Yes.
Not a thing.
But
nothing.
When you need the press kits is when you're at the big events.
Yes.
The smaller events, you're not going to find too many agents in the field looking for stuff. But, you'll be surprised when someone comes over and says, hey, do you have a press kit? And you'll be like, oh, shit. Right. Then you're like scrambling. Well, I can give you all my copies of all my books. I think, you have to be prepared. So shows like MegaCon, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, Dragon Con, those kind of big events, you're definitely going to find those acquisitions teams in the field, those new agents for the Netflixes of the world and the Primes that are going out there looking for viable potential products, marketability. You're going to see Simon & Schuster agents on the floor looking for the next best, children's book or, graphic novel. So you want to be prepared and have something ready so that way at the drop of a dime, have at least 10 with you. You're not selling these things. These are giveaways. So have at least 10 with you for every major event you're going to do because you never know when you're going to need it. And that happened to us a few times. Do you have a press kit? Yeah. You're the first person that we've spoken to that actually had a press kit. I'm like, oh, well, if you don't know, you don't know. And I think the reason why I knew is because I came from the music industry, and that was one of the things you needed.
Right. And I will say this, I hear what you're saying 100% with the larger comic book conventions, but you never know when that producer might have just been in a small town, said, oh, shoot, look, a freaking comic book convention. And he walks into that convention and he's walking around and says, oh, that looks kind of cool. Hey, by the way, you have a press kit and you don't have one. because it's a small show. So always have them with you. Always pack them with you. Always have them.
And if you don't
print out a
have,
few.
if you don't know, you don't want to put one together, then have yourself 10 folders, envelopes filled with samples of your books and your contact information, a postcard, whatever, your business card. Put that in there. If you don't want to print out a press kit and all that other stuff, just have media folders. This is for the media. So somebody comes over and says, look, I'm interested in what you have. Did you have any samples? Do you have a press kit? Well, here's a folder, has all my work in there, has my business card, has my contact information. By the way, what's your name, blah, blah, blah. And then can I get your number? Boom. Make sure you secure that information as well. So that you can follow, you have a business card, and then follow up in a week later. Give them a week to settle in, because you're probably not the only person that they're looking at. They're going to take it back. Then they're going to determine which one they want to present to their boss. Right, and then they're gonna do their thing and present the stuff that they found in the field. And remember, not everything gets picked up, but you never know. But so you want to make sure that you're not just giving them something, but you're collecting. We collect the business cards like there was no tomorrow. Always collect business cards.
Yeah. No, definitely. I thought it was a good topic to discuss, especially with our viewers. Thank you very much, everyone who comments, who likes, and who has subscribed so far, because you guys really fuel some of these topics, because it's like, these people may be looking at the show and saying, what else can I learn from this? And if you learn anything, learn to get a press kit together. And like even what Sam said, just a media folder, just a folder with stuff in it. You make it into a PDF so that you can email it to somebody at the drop of a dime. Do you have a press kit? Yes, I have a PDF of the press kit. Yeah. Even in the first issue as a PDF.
I have all of it on my phone. Yeah. So if someone says, "Hey, you got that?" I'll just airdrop it. Bang, toma.
Yeah, that's it. Technology has made that so much convenient and so much easier, bro. Like QR codes, there's just so much stuff that you can take advantage. You should take advantage of, because coming up, we didn't have that. We had to do that the hard signals. The hard way.
Yes, we're on the roof going, hoo.
And it worked. There was success in it. So we know it works. That's the reason why we're even saying this, because we know it works. Press kits work. A press kit, having a press kit, not only is it convenient for the person asking you for it, but it makes you look professional. Word. It makes you look like you're about it. So
yes, that's what I'm about. And so I see our guest is in the waiting room. So with that said, we're going to run to commercial. And if you're looking to promote your thing, why not promote it with Catch the Craze and sponsor an episode?
Are you sitting at home wondering how you're going to spread the word about that Comic-Con that you're about to appear at, and you want to get some press? How about your first book signing? How do you spread the word so you can get an audience there? Or that first panel at a Comic-Con? Who do you talk to? Or even your first crowdfunding on Kickstarter or Indiegogo? The world is turning to podcasting to get the word out. Why not you? Sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze and start promoting yourself today.
All right, we're going to bring in our guest, Brian Menard, and there he goes.
There he is.
Hello there.
What's going on, Brian? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Not bad. Thank you for joining us tonight. How's everything over there?
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. And it's super cold. I swear,
it's not just cold. It's super cold. Where are you?
We had no fall. We went from like late summer to this frigid. I'm in the thumb of Michigan.
Okay. Yes.
So we're between Lake Huron and Lake St. Clair, and we live on a small private lake, but that's not really where most of the cold comes from.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, my girlfriend's family's out in Illinois, out in Batavia, so they're getting a bit of what you're talking about. It's just cold out there.
Yeah, in Illinois, they get the lake effect from Lake Michigan.
Yes.
All that just comes right down that tunnel.
Yeah, they get it, and it's cold, man. It gets so freaking cold out there. It's ridiculous. But thank you so much for coming on. For those who are watching, we are here with Brian Menard of I'm sorry, just
Dojo Kun.
I'm joking over here. Dojo Kun Comics. So, Brian, is it just you tonight? Is it just?
Yes.
Okay,
just
cool.
Me.
All right, cool. So, introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And did you grow up in Michigan, or is that somewhere you
did.
kind of just ended up? Okay.
No, I was born in Detroit. So 313 represents
8 Mile. 8 Mile.
That's right. Yeah, but no, I was raised in the suburbs. I don't got no street cred. Sorry.
I saw the way you positioned your hand. I said, no, it's not working.
Right. So yeah, I grew up in Michigan. I spent a few years as a disc jockey down in Indiana for a while at an oldie station, WNJY Joy 103. Nice. But yeah, I've been an accountant, an auditor, I'm currently a fraud examiner, and an anti-money laundering specialist. So this whole Dojo Kun Comics thing is really a side project. I published for about 6 years now. I've got 12 comic books published. And then recently, I did a crowdfunding for the very first time of, it's a trade paperback of Siamese issues 1 through 4. And it went really well. It funded within 3 days. And I'd have to say, though, this being my first campaign, it pretty much broke even. And one of the reasons for that is this postage thing that's been going on, just crazy. I know you don't want to make an aside and a huge tangent about postage, but trust me when I say you need to look into it. If you haven't done a campaign yet and you're gonna, anybody out there, make sure you do some research first, because wow, it'll hit you when you're not looking. Now what I've done now is I've got a license from an award-winning novelist named Janice Hardy. And Janice has agreed to let me adapt her novels into comic book form or graphic novel form. Now, it's a trilogy, like I said, and they're 370 pages roughly each. So this comic book is going to be about 70 pages to represent 1/2 of the first novel. So we'll see how that goes. And what it's about, if I had to say it was akin to another set of novels or movies, it would probably be like The Hunger Games or Divergent, where the protagonist is a young woman who faces some huge challenges, and it becomes just like the hero's journey, where she starts from humble beginnings. She has to go away to accomplish her destiny, ends up probably saving the world. You know how that is. But all the trials and tribulations on the way there. Now, this one in particular, her name is Naya. She lives on an island nation that's been taken over by an enemy nation. A lot of folks, a lot of kids in her area have this ability called they're takers. And what that means is they can take pain from one person and push it into an enchanted metal called pinvium. Well, Naya can't push it into the metal. Her ability is flawed such that she can only push it into another person. So she's fearful that this occupying nation will find that out and then weaponize her against her own people. So she has to stay out of their sight. She's on the run constantly. She's an orphan, so she's got no place to live. So throughout this, she's struggling with, making ends meet, trying to find some place to stay, sleeping on the streets, and then, of course, escaping the notice of the opposing army. So there's a lot going on in this first novel. It was fun to adapt it to comic book form. When I write comic books, I write it as if it's a screenplay, and it's not being overly optimistic. Like I think Hollywood's going to come knocking down my door. But what I do is, because I've been an actor for so long, ever since 6th grade, I write them as if they're a play script.
Right. Yeah.
So I write it so that I do the blocking. I've got the camera angles, etc. But my artist Zilson from Brazil, he does have the ability to change things up if he sees fit. After all, the artist is just as much a storyteller as the writer, in my opinion. And it gives him some freedom because he's been at this a while too. I trust his knowledge, his skill, and several times now. Well, not only does he frequently hit my script exactly how I intended, but oftentimes it comes back and I'm like, that's even better than I had envisioned. So that's golden.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Brian, you have you've lived a very interesting life. I love talking to independent publishers and writers, because we all do come from other backgrounds, right? Like we fall in love with comics, we fall in love with the writing process, we fall in love with creating. But the 9 to 5 is, in your case, you were an accountant, you know what I mean? Like you did all of these things. So are, how do you split your time between, you know, your job, what you do, and then creating? I mean, you have tons. I was looking at your website. I mean, you have a good library of books. How did you find the time to get all of these things completed the way you did? Because that's one of the hardest things for us to do as independent artists, is completing all of these projects.
You're right. Well, I'm constantly thinking about these projects, even when I'm not actually working on them. But believe it or not, a silver lining from this pandemic is I was forced to work from home. So rather than my 2.5 hour each way commute, 5 hours on the road, as soon as I sign out of being a fraud examiner and anti-money laundering specialist, I'm a comic book writer. You know what I mean? It's bam, I go get myself some drinks, sit back down, and I'm back to my publishing company. And I'll be honest with you, there's a book out there called The E-Myth, which talks all about entrepreneurs. And the example it gives is about a baker, but it could be really any kind of profession where it's your passion. It's something you do really, really well. So you go into business for yourself, and then you have to wear all of the other hats. You have to be the business's accountant. You have to be the superintendent. You have to be the cash receivables and payables. And that's kind of what happens when you're a publisher too. Right. So although I'd love to be able to write from signing out to bedtime, oftentimes a lot of my time is spent doing other things related to comic book publishing, like, for example, coming on shows that help me get this in front of the folks who may want to back it.
That's right. Yeah. No, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. You also said that you had a campaign before this for your book. It was called
Siamese.
Siamese. Okay. Right. So Siamese, which crowdfunding I guess platform did you use?
I used Indiegogo on the suggestion of some of my friends in the indie comics community. After successfully ending and fulfilling that, I tried it on Kickstarter, but believe it or not, very, very little attention was drawn to it. And I think it's because of my inexperience with the platform. I think that there are certain things that some users on Kickstarter do that really draw attention to it that maybe I'm unaware of and need to learn more about. Because in Indiegogo, I hit the ground running pretty well. Wow. I have several YouTube shows of my own. And so I built up a crowd of at least some people who are interested, not all of whom backed, but at least I got a pretty good following. Right. And a lot of folks gave me a chance because they saw the book and its potential quality. They saw, hopefully they thought I was entertaining, but they also saw the passion that I had for the project. And I think that speaks volumes when you can see how excited the person is. Oh, I've been writing this for years and I've wanted to tell this tale. And the people I try to emulate are George Perez and Marv Wolfman and Chris Claremont. And when they see that you're just as much a passionate fan as they are, they want to give you a chance.
I think when we say it sometimes, I remember when we used to do a lot of conventions, nobody sells your book better than you, right? Even at a convention, like when you're sitting behind that table and somebody comes by, you're going to be able to sell that book better than, say, you know, Sam's got a book. He's gonna be able to sell it better than I would his own book, because they want to meet the writer, they want to meet the artist, they want to meet the people like that. Did you, as far as Indiegogo, because Indiegogo seems to be a very tough, like you say Kickstarter, maybe it's a little different. For me, I'm not gonna speak for Sam, but I know for me, Indiegogo is like that. It's like, how the hell do I figure this one out? You know what I mean? Because the way I look at it is they take your money right away. That's number one, right? Like, you pledge, your money's gone. That's it. You're in. You're in for that money. Granted, they can take, you can obviously take it back. But what is it that you did in Indiegogo other than maybe just going on shows? Or what is maybe the secret sauce that maybe you have with Indiegogo as far as a platform versus what people are doing on Kickstarter? What is it that you think did it?
Okay, well, I can't speak too strongly to Kickstarter because, like I said, I have a lot to learn there. But as far as Indiegogo goes, I think that there's like a triumvirate where you've got YouTube to set up your personality, you've got Indiegogo to actually build the platform, and then you've got, in my opinion, Twitter. Those three pieces together, I think, really make for a campaign. And I'm very active on Twitter. In fact, I just learned the other day that I've been on it for 13 years now. So yeah, I'm like, wow, I was on Twitter before Twitter was cool. Right. So I've been working the crowd on Twitter a lot. I've got a couple, I think 1,700 followers now, which I know in the grand scheme of things pretty small, but it's building. No, it's building. And I reach out to folks as I can and get interested in their projects as well. I've backed 88 campaigns this year, so I'm also supportive of the community as well.
Yeah.
And I think I'm largely able to do that because I'm so disenfranchised with the mainstream comics anymore that I really want to give a lot of folks in the indie community a chance.
Yeah.
So I back folks on both Indiegogo and Kickstarter, probably more Indiegogo because it's what I'm familiar with, but some projects on Kickstarter just look so good I can't pass it up. Now, sometimes I reach out to them and I say, hey, are you also going to go on Indiegogo? Because a lot of the folks that watch my shows sort of lean toward supporting Indiegogo more so, and I'd like to get their eyes on your projects. And some folks say, no, I can't stand them. I'm not going there too. It's like, oh man, you're leaving money on the table. You got to try both if you can. I mean, you know, there's opportunities for folks who are only interested in one or the other. You might get them to back your project once they see how good it is and your passion again.
Yeah, no. So let me just go back to unless Sam, you I don't know if you had something to ask him if you had. So just going back to the Shifter or that series. I know that it's a trilogy, right? So the Healing Wars was the fantasy trilogy that it's being adapted from. As far as adapting a novel into a graphic novel, how tough was that? Because, a graphic, obviously a prose novel is, I don't know how many pages it could be, where now you have to take all of that and then just, transfer it into that sequential art. How tough was that for you guys to do?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's difficult to take 370 pages and make it a reasonable length comic book. You obviously have to pick up on the key scenes in the prose novel, the things that move the story along, and intentionally avoid a lot of exposition. So if there's a lot of explanation as to what a scene looks like, that's up to the artist, and they can do that in 1,000 words for a picture, right? So I've got to sometimes paint the scene for him because he didn't read the novels, but I've got to paint the scene for him so that he can take it and craft his skill set and portray it on the page for me. But what really truly helped was once I distilled it down to the 70 pages I intended to be, I also had the opportunity to pass it by the original novelist's, the author herself. And so she gave it a look over and said, this part here, you can actually make shorter by doing this. So her assistance was invaluable.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, part two of that question is, you said that you extracted 50% of the story into those 40 pages. You said half of the book?
Well, it's a 370-page novel,
right?
And the graphic novel is going to be 70 pages. So there's a lot.
So it tells the whole 350 pages in those 70 pages. So how did you determine your start, middle, and end for and when you wrote it and you converted it to screenplay script format for your artist? How long was the process for you?
Yeah, the process.
I know. How the hell did you do this?
Yes. How long was that damn process?
Yeah, there are some difficult parts to it. Like he said, figuring out the beginning, middle, and end. Now, the beginning and end, I got to be honest, that part's a little bit easier. The beginning is her humble beginnings. Where does she start out? That sort of sets the stage for the entire world. The end. Obviously, you want to bring it to a close so that people either are happy with this one shot or they're hungry for more and they want to come back for the next novel. So the middle is really the hardest part. And what you need to do there is pick out those scenes that move the story along quickly enough to get to the end when it's time to be at the end. So there are certain scenes that, although they were interesting in the book, you could completely remove without losing story. Right. One example of that, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, is they entirely took out the druid Tom Bombadil. Like that character wasn't even in any of the movies and all that. And if you hadn't read the books, you probably didn't notice because it didn't destroy the stories, but it was a significant part of the story if you read the novels. So that sort of thing is what I had to do. I had to take that example and find pieces of the story that wouldn't hurt it if it wasn't there.
Any reason why you landed at 70 pages?
I had originally distilled it down to 140 pages, and I'll be honest with you, that became time and cost prohibitive. Because, and here's why: if you're going to put up a campaign and you say, you know, I need $22,000 to make this book, a lot of people are going to be like, you know what? I don't think you're going to make it, so they won't back it. You know, I don't think you're going to get 22 grand. So I had to really look at it realistically and say, all right, what if I said 70 pages and brought that much further down, such that the amount I need is a reasonable number that people would believe you could reach, and two, you know, I made it a fixed goal. And in Indiegogo, the difference between flexible and fixed. Flexible means you get however many backers you get, and you're still on the hook to make the book. So if you don't get anywhere near what you need, you've got to come up with the rest. In this case, if we're talking 10 to 22 grand, yeah, I don't have that laying around. I mean, I do okay, but not that okay. So what I did is I made it a fixed goal, and in that case, like you alluded to a little while ago, although they take your money right away, if you don't reach your fixed goal, they refund you the money. So nobody gets charged, and you're not on the hook to make the book. Now, does that mean I won't make the book? Not necessarily, but it means that this campaign won't be the time I make it, if I can't raise those funds. Now, having fulfilled the previous book, Siamese, with everybody tweeting out, you know, here's my package, here's all the prints I got, here's the book, and how awesome it looks. Not only does that feel fantastic to see all the fans opening the packages, but it also demonstrates to folks who didn't back it that I'm a dependable creator, that I will fulfill my projects, and oh, look, it's also high quality. So I'm hoping that all of that, added with the other things that I've already talked to you guys about, will really make for a potentially strong second campaign.
No, it's beautiful. I'm looking at some of the pages on your website of, you know, the interior pages. I mean, that water, that storm scene looks incredible. And I even like the little subtle little things, like he's got, like, even the way he's done the panels, like he's got a jigsaw puzzle.
That was entirely his idea. That was phenomenal. All I told him at that time was I want her to go from merchant to merchant, looking for a job that morning and failing to do so. So what he did was he said, okay, so this scene is her entire morning, so it's going to be pieced together like this. I'm going to make it a puzzle. So he didn't tell me that. He just sent it to me like that. And I'm like, dude, that's brilliant.
Very creative. No,
I loved it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, definitely. That looks great. And so you're sending him basically a screenplay script, and he's taking this and saying, okay, I'm going to use my storytelling eye, my sequential art, and, you know, put it together the way you want it. What is the editing process? Like, does he now send you the stuff in thumbnails, and then you kind of say, well, you know what, let's change this around, or what's the process like when you're working with the artist?
So what he does is he sends me the penciled pages. Sometimes he sends me a layout first if he's not really sure he's capturing what I want, but generally what he does is he sends me the finished penciled piece. And then if there's anything to be changed, you know, in pencils, it's a lot easier. Now, he's a traditional artist, so he works on 11 by 17. So he draws it all out. And then once I approve that, he then goes to the inking process and sends me that. What happens then is once I see that it's done, then I pay him. Then he sends me the high-res file.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we're both protected that way. I see the work is done. I'm not sending money into a void. And he sees, hey, I have the money. I'm not sending my work out to the void. So my payment methodology, I think, works super well with my staff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And my staff is very international. So my artist, like I said, is in Brazil. My colorist is in Spain. And my letterer is in Argentina. So they're all over.
The United Nations.
That's right.
It's amazing how small the world has become with the internet, right? Where you can get artists from all over the globe and just put them into one project. It's pretty incredible. And I love, like I said, I love what you're doing with the book. As far as Janice, so she's got this trilogy. Is she, I guess, what's her involvement other than, like, obviously with you, she goes in there and she says, okay, maybe we can take that out. Does she then go and see some of the pages and says, ooh, she didn't look like that in my head. Can we change her?
Oh, as a matter of fact, when we first started doing, what we did was we first did like character models for these characters. And in fact, yes, the first time these characters were drawn, she said, yeah, your artist made them a little older than I pictured. She looks like she's in her early 20s, and no, she's kind of early to mid-teens. Nice. So if you could make her face softer, maybe a little rounder, because kids in their early teens have more, they still have some of their baby pudge. If you could do that, and I know some of us still do too.
I was like, damn.
But so yeah, you're right. We did a model sheet for all the characters, and she did make some changes there, but that was before we started doing the art for the book, so that we knew all of that was correctly captured before we started drawing.
Yeah, no, it looks great. Looks great. And so now this is going to go on Indiegogo. When is the launch of the campaign? Do you have a date, or because I know you have a link for the pre-launch, but do you know when it actually come out?
Yes, the pre-launch, like you said, it's live now, and anybody who signs up now will get a discount, a secret discount tier. Oh, cool. Once we go live. And yes, we're going live on February 18th. Sweet. So we have planned it out. I know that I've got to watch for that 6 month. On Indiegogo, you can have it on pre-launch for 6 months. And they do give you a warning, but it's not much of one. And then they just take it down.
Oh, shoot.
So the problem with that is, I got all those email addresses. I better make sure that I'm constantly downloading that file and overwriting the old one to make sure that as close to that takedown as I can, I have all the right names and addresses. So on February 18th, I'm launching it on a YouTube show, and I'm doing it concurrently with another creator. His name is Jake Adams, and he's launching Cobalt Death Stalks Us. And what we're doing in collaboration with one another is if somebody were to go in and back both of our projects, they're going to get a free homage print of it's an homage to X-Men number 141, where it's Wolverine and Kate Pryde in the spotlight with all of the X-Men in the background on the poster. I'm sure a lot of folks are familiar with that one. Well, this one here is going to be our two main characters, and the poster behind them is going to be made up of 15 different indie creators' characters. They're going to be on that poster.
Nice.
So we got that collaboration going. So that print will be free to somebody who backs both of our campaigns.
Oh, that's sweet. Nice. Yeah, no, that's going to be cool. Yeah, it's this one you're talking about, right? I think.
That's the one, yep.
That's the one, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, that looks cool. That looks cool. Brian, thank you so much for coming on. There's so much more to talk to you about as far as this goes. But when you get closer to the campaign, maybe you can come back on and we can have more of a chat about everything that's going on as you get closer, just to get more hype. For the book.
I'd love to. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. And Janice is also welcome if she wants to come and promote the series as well. You guys hit it from two angles. That's
okay.
The more the merrier.
You have so much going on with Dojo Con Comics that we have so much to talk about there. 'Cause I'm telling you, I'm impressed by how many titles you have on your page.
Well, thank you.
It's very impressive, and good luck with everything. Really, we'll obviously the link will be on the show notes. But thank you so much, Brian, for coming on.
Thank you.
Stay warm. Stay warm out there, and we'll chat soon, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, take care, guys.
You got it.
All right,
too, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, so that was Brian, and we are now going to. We're at the close of the show. That was Brian Menard. And so with that said, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. Please hit the link below. Sign up to his landing page, which launches on February. Subscribe to the channel. Help us get monetized. And remember, it's Black Friday today. Go on and take advantage of that bundle. It's only available for 24 hours. So I did a special Black Friday bundle for you guys. So head over to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and take advantage of it.
All right.
With that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy kids. That's not.
Crazy.
Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him the other.
Say my name, right? This is what you were thinking? Oh,
he described me. He said, I'm the...
You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.